Hello everybody, how's it going? Hope you're all well. I, as a result of having this YouTube channel, occasionally get bonkers emails. A couple of months back, I got asked if I wanted to be part of a campaign with Roger Federer, the tennis goat. In fact, the human goat. I can't think of a cooler person than Roger Federer. Anyway, the agency came to their senses long before they made me an offer, and it didn't come to anything, but it was a cool email to get. And another cool email I got recently was from Hasselblad, asking me if I wanted a limited edition X2D and some budget for a photography trip, in exchange for me taking some photos with the camera and making a video with it. Yeah, cool email. Now, as cool as that sounds, initially I was unsure about that proposal for a couple of reasons. Number one, I don't think I'm a particularly good camera reviewer. I mean, my opinion on my day-to-day camera has changed massively over the course of a year, to the point where I no longer trust my initial opinion on that camera or any other camera now at all. And two, I don't know that you can really make a review about a camera that you're being given for free. I don't think that's right. Anyway, so I said that to Hasselblad, and they came back and said, no, we don't want a review. We just want you to go on this trip, take some photos, make a video. That's it. It's not a review. And so then I thought to myself, well, past me would kill current me if I turn that down. So, yeah.
I'd say one of the things I strive for in life is humility. I think it's really important to be able to admit when you're wrong. And let me be clear, these trousers are very clearly wrong in the Faroe Islands. It's been raining quite a lot. They're absolutely soaked and they look ridiculous. I don't know why I decided to put them in my suitcase. No idea why I decided to put them on this morning, but there we go. Welcome to the Faroe Islands. Let's go and take some photos, shall we? Well, I've been here for just over an hour and it has stopped raining, which is quite nice. It is harder to take photos here though than I expected it would be. I mean, to look at it, you think, wow, how incredibly pretty. There's going to be shapes and light and stories literally everywhere you turn. And that is true to an extent, but it's also quite a messy spot. So finding clean images is proving a bit tricky, but like I say, I have only been here an hour. And I'm here for 2 days in the Faroe Islands, so every place that I go to, I want to give a good amount of time to, and I'll just visit fewer places than I typically do. There's nothing worse than rocking up to a car park thinking, right, 20 minutes here, and then we'll go to the next place, because you just don't get a chance to really think through what it is you're going to shoot. So I'm going to give myself at least a few hours here in the village of Gudjugov. This is kind of nice. You've got the obviously the bridge, the peak in the background, these houses in the midground, and in the foreground, just the edge of this roof that kind of shapes around the mountain. And I really enjoy using foregrounds like that. They kind of act like a frame within a frame. Obviously, it's not filling the whole frame, but just a section of it helps take your eye into the rest of the scene. Maybe. I think things like leading lines get spoken about way too much, but I do quite like that. Well, we're back to where we were a couple of hours ago, and I've just sort of realised that this is the perfect place for a letterbox crop, which I've not done too much of before, but it sort of just feels right with a Hasselblad X-pan cropping, 65 by 24, and it's particularly good when you've got 100 megapixels to do the crop from. So that's quite handy as well. But I think I'm going to get on the road and explore somewhere else now. It's funny. Have that removed. So that's not ideal, but never mind. I'm finding that I'm chimping quite a lot today, which I'm not used to doing, but I suppose it makes sense given that I'm shooting medium format, different sensor size, different depth of field. And when I'm shooting on full frame, I know pretty much all the time the aperture that I need to shoot at to get what I want in focus. But medium format, I don't know my hyperfocal distances, and therefore it's a bit of a guessing game for me at the moment. And I'm just getting my eye in and erring on the side of caution more often than not. So shooting a lot at f/16, for example, which I very rarely do normally, but really enjoying myself. How could I not be? Look at this place. Although, of course, I do now have one very wet foot. Get rid of it. Tell you what, gems like that are the biggest reason that bicycles, I think, are the best way to get around for photos. So much easier to stop. Sadly, you're just tired after 10 miles, or I am. Motorbikes is a thought that's crossed my mind before. Emily would kill me. I think there has got to be a photo here. Maybe I'm wrong. But if you look at these mountains around this football pitch, screams human nature to me. So yeah, I'll have a walk around and see what we find. Welcome to day 2, by the way. Well, I thought I'd start with the obvious shot, which is obviously just a profile of the stand, but I don't think it really works, because it's an absolute nightmare from the perspective of symmetry. The tunnel in the stand isn't in the middle of the stand isn't in the middle of the football pitch, and those two floodlights are different distances apart from the stand as well. So this, I don't think is going to work. I mean, sometimes I love having things that are a bit imperfect in photos because they just throw you off and stop the photo looking like advertising, and they make it look more real, more authentic. But this, I just think it plays havoc with your mind a bit much. So this is called the Earth Explorer edition of the X2D. There are 1,000 of them. I have number 1000, which is pretty cool. And it comes in what Hasselblad call tundra brown. And I see why they've called it that, because it does remind me of lots of places that I've been in the Arctic, for example. But I can't help but think that brown undersells this colour. I'd have called it more of a grey-green myself, but if you're going to have an argument with the company about colour, probably best not to pick Hasselblad. I mean, they know about colours. But yeah, I think this is grey-green. Anyway, let me pull up the literature. The Earth Explorer Limited Edition X2D is for the photographer who is continuously exploring the Earth's natural landscapes.
And for the photographer who is continually exploring Earth's natural landscapes, you get 2 batteries, a special UV filter that goes onto the 55 that comes with the camera, and this 55 lens I absolutely loved. I used it earlier in the year, and it's a full frame equivalent of 43mm, which for me is spot on. What else do you get? You get a special box and a camera strap that's got Earth Explorer written on it. And I'm not the biggest fan of branded camera straps, but this one is really quite nice. And there's a startup screen that says Earth Explorer on it, in case you forget that you've got the limited edition. So yeah, this limited edition is a real nice to have. But the X2D generally, I think, is a really beautiful camera. And like I said at the top, this is not a review, but some thoughts. The files, like other Hasselblad cameras that I've used previously, are just incredible. And the natural colour solution is fantastic. It's great if you don't like to edit your images all that much, because you start off with a file that looks great to begin with. But if, like me, you do like editing your files, it's a great base to work from as well. My perception of medium format cameras generally is that they're quite slow to use, and therefore what you gain in image quality you maybe miss out on with responsiveness. And I mean, this isn't the camera that I'd choose for sports photography, for example, but there were occasions in the Faroe Islands where I had fleeting moments that I was worried before the trip I'd miss shooting on a camera like this. And I didn't miss. It's plenty fast enough. The autofocus is great, stabilization works brilliantly, and it operates much like all the other cameras that I use typically in my life. The screen on the back is absolutely gigantic, so that works perfectly. It's got a terabyte of internal storage. The top screen works brilliantly too. USB-C rechargeable, and the menus are so minimal that it's just completely a joy to set up. If you've bought cameras in the past and you've had to basically spend a day setting that camera up because there are 18 pages of menus, this is really nice to use because, I mean, there's 1 page of icon menus. I think it's 1 page. Yeah, 1 page. Now, personally, I wish the limited edition had come with a non-orange shutter button. But again, arguing with Hasselblad about colour is a bit ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, not a review, but you'll definitely see me shooting with this camera in the future because, madly, it's mine. And actually, I should say before I go, image quality is not a problem that I need solving in my life. I mean, the cameras that I use day to day, the image quality is fantastic. I don't need any more. But these files are nice to look at. And it is a nice to have. It's not a need to have for me, but it's absolutely a nice to have. Anyway, yes, thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been interesting or useful. And thank you also to Hasselblad for my new camera. Crazy world, but I appreciate it. I really do.